Right, we start off with some of our thread. This is just 70 denier UTC. We're going to go to about the third of the way up the hook shank, and I'm going to tie in my Estaz, and this is it's just some black and pearl Estaz. Wrap back to the bend. We're going to come back forward here and leave the thread right where we left off, and then just wrap the chenille or the Estaz forward, and I try to brush back each successive wrap so that it lays against the previous one, and then up to about that 3/4 point. So you have just a blob of material here right now. Just cut off the excess. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our foam, which is this Right Way Sports. This is a black and orange striped foam, and we're just going to take one piece of this, and what we need to do is fold it over. We're going to need to pierce that. So what I want to do is get a piece about equal to where I've tied off my thread, and that's kind of where I gauge poking the hole through. And you can either just poke the hole right through, or I like to just make an indentation and then use my sharp scissors to kind of create the little hole that it goes through. So now that I've got my hole poked in the foam, I want to leave a little bit more room on the underside so that I can it's easier to tie this in. So I'll go ahead and slip that over the eye of the hook, and then flip it upside down. Gives me a little bit more room to work with. And what I'll do is I'll just simply fold this all the way back against the whole body, and I'm going to cut this so it doesn't have to be exact. And then I just create a little head on there. Okay, now that I've got my wraps in there, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of a strike indicator. Now technically you probably don't need a strike indicator, but this is a little bit more visibility. I'm going to use some white poly yarn, just a little tuft of that. And I'm just going to tie that in right at the top. Cinch that down into the area I've tied off. Just give that a clip. Doesn't have to be huge. Now I'm going to tie in some legs. So I'm just going to take two of these centipede legs, and what I usually do is I'm going to put those in on the one side with one relatively loose wrap, and then grab the one set and push them over to the other side, and then tie them in tighter. Okay, once we've got that in there, kind of push everything back, and then I'm just going to whip finish right here. And then we will tie that off. I'm going to trim the legs a little down. Now, what we'll do is we're going to trim this body. So right now it's obviously a lot longer on both the top and the bottom. And I want the length of the body to be about even with the back of the bend of the hook where my Estaz ends. So I'm just going to clip that off there, like so. And right now it's square. You can, probably doesn't matter, but sometimes I like to give it a little bit of a point to it. So it's got that shape. Then on the bottom I'm just going to snip that relatively close to where it's tied in because I want the estas to come through on the bottom. So I'm just going to snip that right off at the bottom, like so. And there we go.